Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time you are coming across this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, so you can be notified whenever we drop content. On this channel we drop meaningful and educational contents back to back. And to my returning subscriber, I want to say a big thanks to you. Thanks for your support, thanks for your trust. Without wasting more time, let's dive into today's content. Once upon a time, in a small, colorful village in Nigeria, there lived a young mother named Mama Binta and her little daughter, Amara. They were each other's world, especially since Papa Ikenna, Amara's father, had gone to be with the stars not too long ago. Mama Binta was a strong woman with a warm smile and kind eyes. She loved Amara with all her heart and always told her, "I will always take care of you, my sweet Amara, no matter what." And little Amara, with her big brown eyes and playful laugh, would always nod, trusting her mother's promise. But things were hard for Mama Binta. Every day, she worked from morning to night. She washed clothes, carried heavy bags, and even helped people at the market. Sometimes, her hands would be sore, and her feet would ache, but she never complained. All she wanted was to make sure Amara was happy and had everything she needed. One sunny afternoon, while Mama Binta was hanging clothes on the line, Auntie Nkem, their neighbor, came over. Auntie Nkem liked to talk, and she didn't always say the nicest things. "Mama Binta," Auntie Nkem said with a sigh, "how will you take care of Amara all alone? It's too much for one person. You need help, maybe even a husband." Mama Binta just smiled kindly and replied, "I have Amara. She is my strength and my joy. We will be just fine." But Auntie Nkem shook her head. "You'll see, my dear. It's not easy. Life can be tough for a woman all alone." Little Amara, who had been listening nearby, looked at her mother with worry in her eyes. She didn't like hearing Auntie Nkem say such things. Later, Amara asked softly, "Mama, will we really be okay?" Mama Binta knelt down and held Amara close, brushing a soft kiss on her forehead. "Yes, my sweet Amara. I promised I'd always take care of you. And I will keep that promise." One day, Mama Binta heard a piece of news that made her heart race. Uncle Sola, a family friend, told her that a distant relative in a nearby town had a job available. It wasn't easy work, but it paid well enough to make life better for Amara. Excitement and hope filled Mama Binta's heart. This could be the chance she had been waiting for. She told Amara about the opportunity, and though Amara didn't like the idea of being away from her mother, she smiled bravely. "I'll be strong, Mama," Amara whispered, holding her mother's hand tight. Mama Binta left Amara with Uncle Sola, promising to be back soon. She set out early the next morning, carrying nothing but a small bag and a heart full of hope. As she traveled, Mama Binta thought about Amara and how much she loved her. She walked under the hot sun, passing fields and villages, dreaming of the better life they would have if she got the job. But when she finally arrived in the town, her heart sank. The relative who promised her the job said that it was already taken. Mama Binta was heartbroken. She had come all this way, leaving her dear Amara behind, and now there was no job. Mama Binta felt a heaviness in her heart. She had promised Amara that she would come back with something to make their lives better, and now, she had nothing. As she walked through the town, tired and worried, she looked around, hoping to find some work, any work. She asked a few shopkeepers and people passing by if they needed help. But each time, they shook their heads, telling her they had no jobs to offer. Meanwhile, back in the village, little Amara waited by the door, her eyes watching the path her mother had taken. Uncle Sola tried to cheer her up with stories and treats, but nothing made her feel better. She missed her mother's warm hug and gentle voice. And every time Auntie Nkem passed by, she would mutter things like, "Poor girl, waiting for her mother who's out there chasing dreams." But Amara believed in her mother. She remembered her mother's promise, and each night, as she lay on her little mat, she whispered, "Mama will come back." Mama promised. In the town, just as Mama Binta was beginning to lose hope, she came across an older woman selling roasted corn by the roadside. The woman saw the sadness in Mama Binta's eyes and asked, "What brings you to this town, my dear? You look like you've been on a long journey." Mama Binta told her story about her sweet Amara and the promise she had made to give her daughter a better life. The woman nodded slowly, understanding the struggles of a mother's heart. "Come, rest a while and share my food," the woman said kindly, handing Mama Binta a piece of roasted corn. As Mama Binta ate, the woman shared a little secret. "There's a farm outside of town that's always looking for workers, but it's hard work. If you're willing to give it a try, you might earn enough for what you need." Mama Binta's heart filled with hope again. It was a chance, and she would do anything for her daughter. She thanked the woman and set off toward the farm, determined to make this work. When Mama Binta reached the farm, she was taken aback. The field stretched as far as she could see, and the workers around her were all men, strong and tall. She felt small and tired, but she remembered Amara's little face and her promise. The farm owner looked at her and frowned. "This work isn't easy," he said. "Are you sure you can do it?" Mama Binta took a deep breath and nodded. "I will try," she said firmly. Days went by, and Mama Binta worked harder than she ever had before. She lifted heavy sacks, picked crops under the blazing sun, and her hands became rough and sore. But she kept pushing forward, whispering to herself, "For Amara. I must keep my promise." Just as she was beginning to think she had earned enough to go back home, disaster struck. On her last day at the farm, as she was carrying a heavy sack, she tripped and fell, injuring her leg badly. The pain was sharp, and she could barely stand up. Mama Binta's heart sank. She was so close to returning to Amara, but now she could hardly walk. The farm owner saw her struggle and offered her a few extra coins, saying, "This should help you get back home. Take care of yourself." With a limp and a heart filled with both relief and worry, Mama Binta began the journey back to the village, hoping that Amara would be waiting for her. After many days, Amara saw a figure walking slowly down the path to their home. Her heart leapt with joy. It was her mother. But as Mama Binta got closer, Amara noticed her mother's limp and the tired look in her eyes. Amara ran to her, wrapping her arms around her mother. "Mama, you came back," she cried. Mama Binta knelt down and held Amara tightly, feeling tears in her eyes. "Yes, my sweet Amara, I promised you, didn't I?" Uncle Sola and even Auntie Nkem gathered nearby, watching in surprise as Mama Binta returned, despite the hardships she had faced. Auntie Nkem shook her head, feeling a mix of shame and awe. That night, Mama Binta told Amara stories of her journey and the kind people she met along the way. She held Amara close, whispering, "No matter how hard things get, love and hope will guide us."